The CHL playoffs continue to roll on, and all but one series has been decided if you are paying attention to Blue Jackets prospects. So we are going to check in on how all of the series are going, who's going to the third round, who might not be going to the third round, and how they're all doing.
You're Locked On Blue Jackets, your daily podcast on the Columbus Blue Jackets. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Blue Jackets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am, as always, your host, Jay Foster, here to bring you news, stories, the good, the bad, and the ugly about your favorite team and mine, the Columbus Blue Jackets. Before we get started, I want to thank everyone for making this your first listen of the day every day. Locked On Blue Jackets continues to be free and available on all podcast platforms. We are over on YouTube. Please like, subscribe. If you hit the little bell button down below this video, then you will get notified when new episodes go live. And I also got to let you know that today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Today, like I said at the top of the show, we are talking about Blue Jackets prospect. Again, we're checking back in with the CHL, and I think all but one of the series has been decided, or all of the series with Blue Jackets prospect in. The only one that hasn't, well, I'm recording this Monday evening before Game 6 of the Winnipeg versus Moose Jaw series, which we'll start with that one. Why not? That has been a hotly contested series. Lots going on either side. The first game went to Winnipeg, a 5-3 final score. Martin Rysavy got one assist in that game. In game 2, Moose Jaw won that one 5-3. Martin Rysavy scored a goal in that one. Denton Mateychuk with an assist. Denton Mateychuk continues to be quiet in these playoffs, and I'm unsure what's happening there. The third game was an 8-4 win for Moose Jaw. Martin Rysavy scores again. Denton Mateychuk with a couple of assists. So, you know, he's picking up. He had a primary assist on the game-winning goal, which is always fun. Then Winnipeg took game 4 in overtime. Martin Rysavy scores again. That's his 5th playoff game. Denton Mateychuk with another assist. And the most recent game on Saturday, Winnipeg won that 5-2. Neither Rysavy nor Mateychuk were on the score sheet. So it's been a pretty good series for both players. I know I said that Denton Mateychuk was quiet in the first round. He only had, I think, 3 points in his first 4 games, I want to say. They swept Lethbridge. They have found themselves with much more of a handful against Winnipeg, who I believe is the first seed going into this. I'm not sure how the WHL seeds their teams, but Mateychuk, 7 points in 9 games so far. I believe 4 of those are from these 5 games. So 4 points in 5 games for Moose Jaw, the captain. He's picked it up a little bit, but honestly, the surprise of this playoffs has been Martin Rysavy. Honestly, he has been really, really good, especially considering, you know, he is a 7th round pick. He got 10 points in 9 games for Moose Jaw, 5 goals, 5 assists. He's been lights out for this team. In terms of the team scoring, I'm not sure where he's sitting. I believe he's 3rd under Jagger Furcus, who has 20 points in 9 games, which feels insane. And then Braden Yeager, who is a draft-eligible player for the upcoming draft. And then, yeah, Martin Rysavy is 3rd on the team in scoring with 10 points. Hilariously, Connor Bedard is still 3rd on the CHL in scoring with 20 points in 7 games, which, again, insane. But Jagger Furcus, not far behind him. Logan Stankoven, Owen Zellweger in Kamloops having fantastic seasons as well. But honestly, the surprise of the postseason for the Blue Jackets prospect, at least, has definitely been Rysavy. It's going to be really fun to see him in the AHL next season. In a minute, we're going to move on to some decided series. Again, so it's 3-2 to Winnipeg, the series, as of the time of recording this. Game 6 is tonight. As recording this, it happened yesterday. So either Winnipeg has won the series and Rysavy and Mateychuk's seasons are over in the WHL, or they come back, they tie the game, there will be a game 7. So either way, in tonight's episode, I'll do a little addendum at the start where I will catch up on that. But in a minute, we'll go ahead, we'll take a look at the Ontario Hockey League as Sarnia is on its way to round 3. But first, I've got to tell you all about Indeed. Because when you're drafting your fantasy team, do you ever wish that you could handpick the best stars for your business team? If you're building your talent roster, you need Indeed. It is the hiring platform where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. Don't spend hours on multiple job sites looking for candidates with the right skills. You can do it all with Indeed. Find top talent fast with Indeed's suite of powerful hiring tools like matching, assessment, virtual interviews. And Indeed's US data shows over 80% of Indeed employers find quality candidates whose resume on Indeed matches their job description the moment they sponsor a job. Candidates you invite to apply through Instant Match are 3 times more likely to apply to your job than candidates who only see it in search, according to US Indeed data. And why not? Because Indeed is the hiring site. 3 million businesses are using it. Indeed knows when you're growing your own business, you have to make every dollar count. That's why with Indeed, you only pay for quality applications that match your must-have job requirements. Visit Indeed.com/locked-on to start hiring now. Indeed.com/locked-on. Terms and conditions apply. Cost per application pricing not available for everyone. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Let's talk Sarnia because Luca Belluz continues to be a rock star. Sarnia swept their second round opponent, Saginaw. They won 4-0 on Thursday in a shutout for Ben Gaudreau, Sharks prospect. Luca Belluz, second star of the game. He got the power play game winner, and that's his 6th goal in the playoffs so far. He's played 8 games. Oh, no, excuse me. He's played 4-7. He's played 11 games, and he's got 6 goals. So he is on fire right now. He has got 11 points in 10 games for the playoffs in Sarnia. I don't think he's not leading the team. He is second. So Nolan Burke, Pred prospect, first in scoring with 12 points in 9 games. Belluz right behind him with 11 points in 10 games. And that puts him at 13th overall in playoff scoring, which is just so fun. You love to see it. You really do. I stand by what I said in last week's edition of this CHL check-in of Sarnia is, of all of the teams that have Blue Jacket prospects on them, Sarnia is the one that I could see heading into the next round. Or heading into the 4th round, the championship round in the OHL, and then going on to the Memorial Cup. Problem is, now they're playing London, who are 8-1 in the playoffs so far. They swept the Owen Sound attack, and they just beat the Kitchener Rangers 4-1. So it's going to be a tough test. Sarnia swept Saginaw. It took them 6 games, to beat the Guelph Storm. So London's a really good team. I think they were the second. Yeah, they were the second seed in that conference behind Shane Wright's Windsor Spitfires, who then got swept. It was a whole thing. London's going to be a tough out. In terms of scoring for the London Knights, they've got a couple of guys above Sarnia in Sean McGurn and Denver Barkey, neither of whom are drafted right now, but they are sitting on 16 and 13 points, respectively. And then they have Ryan Winterton, a Kraken prospect, who's right there with them at 11 points. it's a tough team. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens there. But I have faith in the Sting. I think the Sting are a really strong team, and we'll check in next week. And hopefully, I will not be sad about hockey again this season. But I don't know, man. Sarnia's just got good vibes. I feel good about Sarnia. Let's go on and talk about the QMJHL. We've got 2 series to talk about over there. And so we'll do that in just a second. But first, I've got to tell you about Gametime, because I am terrible at planning and also very easily stressed. Buying tickets to your favorite events shouldn't be stressful, and that's why Gametime is the best way to do it. It's fast and easy. You can buy tickets for sports, music, comedy, theater, killer deals on last-minute tickets, and they have a best price guarantee. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Gametime will credit you 110% of the difference, so you can stop stressing over tickets and start getting hyped for all the fun you are going to have. The fastest growing ticketing app in the country for a reason. Get images of your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. You can buy tickets in a matter of seconds. 2 taps and you're set, and the tickets are sent directly to your phone, so you never have to dig through your email. Snag the tickets without the stress with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Let's jump over to the QMJHL. Both prospects for the Blue Jackets are still in the mix. The Quebec Remparts with James Malatesta swept the Rimouski Oceanique, with James Malatesta having some pretty big plays. He had an assist in the first game, which they won, obviously. He had 2 goals in the second game, first start of game. The Ramparts won that 5-1. They won the third game in overtime, which is always exciting. Nothing on the score sheet for Malatesta there, but in game 4, he returned. He had an assist and a goal. Malatesta is going to be a really fun player in the AHL, I think. I don't know whether he's going to turn into an NHL player yet, but as far as the AHL goes, I mean, as far as the QMJHL goes, he's doing basically everything you could ask of him. He's another late round draft pick for the Blue Jackets, a 5th round pick overall in 2021. Turns 20 in May, so he'll be in the AHL come October. And like I said, he's got 9 points in 8 games so far for the playoffs. Quebec is stacked, so like it feels like it's not a huge thing that he has. He's like, oh, it's only 11 points in, or 9 points in 8 games, excuse me, because there are two players above him. One of those is Justin Robitaille, who has 15 points in 8 games, and Nathan Gaucher has 10 points in 8 games. But Malatesta, 4th on the team in scoring, 21st in the league. It's like I said, it's fun. The QMJHL, I think, is generally considered to be the weakest of the 3 leagues, but it's also the one that I find the most fun. And I find Malatesta a really fun player. So hopefully they go all the way. I still think that the championship matchup is going to be Quebec versus Halifax, and then I'm going to be really conflicted on who to cheer for, because Halifax has everyone's favorite small prospect in Jordan Dumais, who was kept off the score sheet in game 1 when they lost 4-1, and then Halifax would not lose again after that. They would then go on to score like 12 goals over the next 4 games. Dumais had a 2-assist night in game 2 when they scored 7 goals. The third game, Halifax won 4-2. Dumais also not on the score sheet in game 3. That was another shutout. I feel like there's been a lot of shutouts in this playoff run, but another 2 assists for Jordan Dumais. So he's at 4 assists in 4 games. And then in game 5, he had a goal and 2 assists. Oh, 2 goals and 2 assists, excuse me. So 4 points. So 8 points in 5 games. It's pretty darn good, if you ask me. Again, I think this player, I think he's so fun. I think he's such a fun player. Is he NHL suitable? Maybe not, but like I say, he's fun. He's clearly doing something right in the QMJHL. He's second on the team in scoring behind Josh Lawrence, who has 19 points in 9 games. 16 points in 9 games, though, is not to be sniffed at, honestly. 7th in the league in scoring, or, well, technically tied for 6th with Alexis Gendron from Gatineau. But I really do think that the championship round is going to be Quebec versus Halifax. They are the 1 and 2 seeds of all the teams remaining, I believe. So it'll be interesting. Quebec is now playing Gatineau, and Halifax will be playing Sherbrooke. Gatineau swept the Huskies. Sherbrooke swept Drummondville. So it's 4 very good teams. Halifax is the only team that lost a game in that second round. Quebec swept, Sherbrooke swept, and Gatineau swept. Sherbrooke has yet to lose a game. Neither has Quebec. Gatineau lost 1 in the first round. Halifax has lost 1 game so far. So of the 4 championship games, they are collectively, 8, 16, 24, 32, and 2. Bonkers. It's gonna be wild. I highly recommend tuning into the QMJHL playoffs. It's been a fun time. Next week, we'll do more of the same. We'll check in, see who's in their championship rounds, who's going home, who's going to be a monster next season. We'll do that next week. Later today, we're going to do another season review. We're going to be looking at Justin Danforth and Lane Peterson, both of whom only played like 10 to 15 games this season. So I figured we'll put them both in the same episode, and I'll also do just a little catch up on how last night's Moose Jaw Winnipeg game went, whether they're tied in the series or whether Winnipeg is going ahead. I've been Jake Foster. You can find me on Twitter at _Jacob Foster, JAKOBFORSTER. You can find the podcast at LO_Blue Jacket. If you have comments, questions, criticisms, you can email me at lockedonbluejackets@gmail.com. And thank you for listening. Thank you for making this your first listen of the day. Locked on Blue Jackets continues to be free and available everywhere you can think of to find it. We're on Audible. We're on Spotify. We are obviously on YouTube. If you're an everydayer, you know all this. If you are new, hello, welcome in. Hopefully you become an everydayer. But the important thing is, until later today, make sure you stay locked on.